Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. And today I have got an extra special guest. It's none other than Beth from Miss 80's Movies and Music. How are you, Beth? And it's really, really good to see you.
Hi, Richard. Nice to finally meet you in person. And hello to everyone else out in the YouTube world.
Now, the reason I want to do this video with Beth is I'm a big Queen fan. They're in my top 10 bands stroke artists of all time. However, I think they're the best number one band. Would I be right in saying that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yep.
So the thing about Queen at the moment is way back in the early 90s, Queen were the second most collectible band behind the Beatles, according to Record Collector magazine. And I think a lot of people look at Queen now as a singles act rather than an albums act because of the success, especially in the UK. I don't know about in America, but their first greatest hits, which was released in 1981 and kept Adam the Ant's Prince Charming off the top, which I can remember. It is now spending its, are you ready for this? 1,126th week in the charts. And it's still in the charts at number 39. There's one album in the charts that has spent more than that, and that's by a band that I actually like a little bit more than Queen, and that's ABBA Gold. And it was released.
Okay.
It was released 11 years after Queen's greatest hits. So those two are huge bands, and a little bit like ABBA, everyone thinks that ABBA are just a singles band, and I think a lot of people are thinking now the same of Queen, which is not the case. So what we've decided to do is to pick 8 tracks each that were not singles. Now, it's obviously in America, you had released some other singles that we didn't release, but you picked yours, I picked mine from the UK. And I'm going to do a quote here. John Lydgate, I think he was a 16th century monk, said, "You can please some of the people all of the time. You can please all of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time." Now, I know that was used by Abraham Lincoln as well, more famously. But to me, that makes me think of Queen, really, because their music is so varied. There is no way that you could actually please everyone, because they had prog, they had hard rock, they had funk, pop, blues, even a little bit country thrown in, and synth pop. So it's very, very difficult to please all the people. So what I've done is I've picked my 8 songs, and it's a bit of a variance in different styles. And I don't know how you've gone about it, but before you tell me, how did you actually get into Queen? Because you're much younger than I am.
Okay. I will shock people. No, really. I was born in 1980. So I became a Queen fan like many, many of my generation. And you probably you're going to know what I'm going to say. But this little film
All right.
called Wayne's World.
Yeah.
So, and also, just so you note, Queen's Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
Here in the States, they repackaged this in the 90s when the Mighty Ducks, the Disney film The Mighty Ducks, came out with Emilio Estevez. And they repackaged that with a, hype sticker saying from the hit Disney film The Mighty Ducks, because it featured We Are the Champions. But yeah, Wayne's World, a little bit of a backstory about me, Richard, is I grew up in a predominantly Christian, country, and bluegrass-based household with a little bit of Elvis, little bit of like Conway Twitty, Kenny Rogers thrown into the mix. Okay. So we did not listen to anything really other than that. My brothers, maybe dabbled into Thriller and things like that, popular in the 80s, as they're a little older than me. But my mom took me and my friend, my neighbor, Chris, to go see Wayne's World. We begged her to go see Wayne's World. And the scene, that scene with the Mirthmobile and Bohemian Rhapsody, that literally changed my life.
Yeah.
And as you guys all know, back then we had no internet. We had no way to learn about, seek out what
Mhm.
that was. So I, of course, got the soundtrack. And then I remember for my 12th or 13th birthday, I asked for a CD player and I got it. And prior to that, I had saved my money. And this is my original CD. I bought Queen's Greatest Hits. I don't
Right.
know where to hold it. Sorry. And I remember flipping through it, reading all the little captions in the liner notes, not
Mhm.
even playing the songs yet, because I hadn't even had a CD player yet, but like learning about the band, learning about the little intricate facts about the band. And then when I finally got that CD player, playing this for the first time, it was like a whole new experience for me. So yeah, that's where my passion for Queen began. And really it's, maybe cliche to say, but I've never let them go.
Yeah.
They've been my favorite ever since then. So
Well, to be honest with you, being born in 1980, you were born to be a Queen fan because that was Queen's biggest year in the
yeah,
United States with the Game
yeah,
album and the two number
game,
one singles, which, if you
right?
listen to those two singles, are completely different. And this is the point I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to make. It's not as if that Queen carried or changed their music album per album. It was within each album. There's so many different styles of music.
Right.
So, and one
Yep.
question about the Wayne's World, is that the
Sure.
one also with Ballroom Blitz on it?
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes,
So
okay.
yeah. So we learned about Sweet and didn't even know about them.
Right.
Tia Carrere sang that song, and you know, and I
Well,
mean, she covered the Dwight Twally, "Why You Want to Break My Heart," his
yeah.
song. She covered that as well. So it really introduced a whole new generation to all the. I mean, you have Alice Cooper, you have all these bands, and introduced a whole new generation to them. So we have Wayne's World to thank for that. So, and I
Well,
mean, think about how the movie, did you know that the film was not going to originally use Bohemian Rhapsody?
oh my goodness, I would never have
Yeah,
been the success. This is
no, they wanted, I think don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it was like a Guns N' Roses song, like Sweet Child of Mine or something.
oof, right,
And
okay.
Mike Myers, which he had the cojones to champion for Bohemian Rhapsody, that was his very first major motion picture, and
Mhm.
didn't really have a leg to stand on, but said it was either Bohemian Rhapsody or nothing,
Well,
which
right.
is mind blowing to think he had the gumption to.
Well, fair play to him, and he was proven right, obviously.
He was proven right. Yep, yep. So,
Well, that
yep,
that was 1992, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's go back 18 years, and that's when I first heard Queen,
Okay.
1974, and I heard the single "Killer Queen," which was a huge hit over here,
Mm-hmm.
because it was on Top of the Pops, and I was watching Top of the Pops as a kid for years. The next I heard was Bohemian Rhapsody itself, and my brother had bought the single in '75, and it was number one for 9 weeks in the UK. He also bought the follow up, which was "You're My Best Friend," and then he skipped. I think that no, he didn't. He bought probably the top three single for me of Queen was "Somebody to Love." He bought it in '76, and I bought "We Are the Champions" in '77. So it's really from my brother, who's 4 years older than me, and he also bought the jazz album. Then he stopped completely, and I bought "Play the Game." And then during the '80s, I was turned 14 in 1980. So during the '80s, I was buying all the singles and most of the albums. I didn't get them all, but I did get most of the singles, and I love them. Absolutely love them.
That's
And
wow. See, that you grew up in the heyday. I mean, that would
yeah,
be
yeah.
to experience that and buy the singles as they came out. That would have been amazing.
The shock for me was seeing Freddie Mercury with short hair and a mustache, because I was
Yeah.
used to Freddie Mercury with no mustache, wearing a leotard, and having
Yeah.
long hair. That's what
Yeah.
I remember of Freddie Mercury. And because even the name Freddie Mercury, he was Queen Wear, slightly part of the glam rock movement in
Mm-hmm.
the '70s.
Was it
Slightly heavy.
shocking?
It,
I mean,
Not really, because if you saw people, well, it was shocking to see the moustache and look like somebody
Right.
else. Rich people, that was the shock.
Yeah.
You know, we all sort of knew. Well, we didn't really know because I was only a kid. I didn't know that Freddie was gay or whatever.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
things like that there. But looking back, it was obvious he was. But their dress was not as shocking as somebody like David Bowie or Slade or anything like that. They were actually calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Freddie looked a little bit stupid in his leotard and the hairiest chest you'd ever see. But stupid, there are some people they find that rather attractive. We won't go there.
Well,
So that was Be with Queen, and I remember whenever he died in 1991, it was dreadful because he actually came out and did a slight, very, very short interview. I think it was the day before he actually died, and I thought, oh, maybe he's on the mend. But,
yeah.
So we have got 8 songs each. And I haven't really ranked these. I've just picked 8, okay?
Yeah.
But I am leaving my favorite Queen LP track to the last.
Okay.
Doing that. So if you want to start off with your first choice and you just talk away about it for as long as you wish. Okay.
Okay. So let me preface this. I'm a kind of analytical person.
Yeah.
So I put mine in more of a chronological order.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the oldest and go forward. That's what I picked. So, and then I did maybe cheat on one pick because my daughter, my daughter comes in to correct me and she's like, well, technically it was a B-side. I said, well, that's not a single.
That's fine. You can have B-sides because some of mine are B-sides. At least 1, 2 are B-sides. 3 are B-sides. But I have cheated even more than you have cheated. I have a blatant cheat, but I will defend it for my life. Okay, whatever we come to.
Okay. So I will start. Let me get my paper out. Like I said, I wrote notes, you guys. So I'm going to set them down here. Just so if I look down, that's what I'm looking down for. So my first pick is going to be off Queen 2. I'll hold up Queen 2. You want me to hold it up the whole time or
no. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, any guess what I'm picking? Richard, you want to guess?
Right. I would say that you are going to pick the Ogre Battle.
Golf clap. So, yeah, Ogre Battle is the song that I chose from Queen 2. And I like it because it is a high energy theatrical rock song. And the song lyrics, I think, paint a very vivid picture of a fantastical battle between ogres, complete with the screams, the roars, the chaotic sound effects, which I eat up. I'm a kind of a theatrical fan. So obviously that's why I'm kind of drawn to Queen, is I like the theatrics of it. I like the drama of the songs, and I do like the variedness that they have throughout their catalog. So Ogre Battle is considered one of Queen's heaviest and most proggy, in my opinion. And I'm not I don't know all the terms, but I'm just I'm interpreting it the way I feel it. Proggy kind of progressive songs. It was a favorite during their live performances early on, often featuring extended guitar solos with improvised sections. The song's unique blend of fantasy, heavy metal, and theatrical elements has made it a beloved classic among Queen fans. So I think it is a sonic masterpiece that showcases Queen's experimental side and their ability to craft a truly epic rock experience. So, Ogre Battle, check it out. I believe Richard will have a playlist linked down below with our picks. So if you have never heard Ogre Battle, I encourage you guys to go check it out. So that's my pick, number 1.
That's a great choice, actually. I think that must have been one of the first few written for that album, because the Queen at the BBC sessions, which they played a lot of the debut album, also included Ogre Battle. Now, I am going to sort of change my order a little bit because of that. I am going to pick one also from Queen 2. Okay, this was actually going to be my fourth choice, but I'm going to do it now. And I'm going to say exactly what she says. But this is the one that I have cheated on, really. And
Okay.
can you guess how I've cheated in this? Can you guess which song it is? If I say that it's actually, you can't have one song without the other.
Oh, is it White Queen?
No, it's the Fairy Feller's Masterstroke.
Okay.
Nevermore.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nevermore comes after it. It's a little bit like Pink Floyd. What is it? Brain Damage and Eclipse. You can't play one without the other. It's an absolutely brilliant but bonkers tune. It really is. It goes all over the place. Freddie's vocals are they go from bass to as high as you'll get, falsetto. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's about a painting he once saw, which was like a cluttered type painting, which has everything in it. And so he wrote the song. Now, Nevermore, whenever it finishes, it goes into this piano part and then leads directly into Nevermore. And it's only about a minute and a half long. And it is a lovely love song. But it is like this Tolkien type love song, Don't Send Me to the Path of Nevermore. And every time I hear that now, I think of Sheldon and Amy out of The Big Bang Theory. It's something he would say to her. You know what I mean? All this Tolkien stuff. But I think it's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful track. And it's up there for me. Fairy Feller's Master. I don't know what a Fairy Feller is, by the way. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I could take it very literally.
Well, that's what you could actually, yes. Whether I'd like to say that in this day and age, I do not know. But that's my first choice, which was my fourth. So that would be the proggy choice for me.
Okay.
So
number 2?
Yep.
Okay. So I will say that number 2, the second one I picked, I at first was not going to pick anything from this album. Okay. And you probably can guess which album I'm going to show up next. Because I thought, well, most people, when they think of Queen, people will tell them to immediately go to this particular album.
Yeah.
But, it is one of the greatest albums ever made. I will give it that. And this is the album that I'm going to cheat a little tiny bit on. So, of course, this is Queen's seminal, career-defining, maybe, turn, Night at the Opera. So everyone knows this one. The song that I picked off of this album, I'm dedicating this to my friend David, because I know this is his favorite Queen song, one of my favorites as well, and that is 39.
Okay.
And it was a B-side. I know that. My daughter she's like, well, she's picky. But I said, I'm going for it anyway. I've already got everything written down. I'm not editing anything. So
it's fine. It's an album track. It's not an A-side. It's a B-side.
No, it's not an A-side. It's a B-side. And to be honest with you, unless, I know that they have incorporated it into their shows more recently, and I know they did play it a little bit back in the day, but it is not one of their most well-known tracks.
No.
So at least over here, it is not. So, but if you're not familiar with 39, this track features Brian May. It was composed by Brian May, and the song blends elements of folk, progressive rock, and science fiction to create a truly unique listening experience. The song's narrative, I'm going to set this down now, centers around a crew of space travelers who embark on a journey that, due to the effects of time dilation, lasts only a year for them, but a century for those left behind on Earth, which is kind of a very interesting thought. It reminds me of like almost a Lovecraftian time, Twilight Zone type of, it could be made into a Twilight Zone episode, really. So, which I know the concept of the song is rooted in Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, and it provides a poignant backdrop for the song's exploration of themes of time, loss, and the passage of generations, which I really love, because as we, get older, time marches on, and we start losing people that we love. So musically, what I love, and I know what David would say, we were talking about this just yesterday, and he loves the acoustic guitar arrangements, the arpeggios in the song. So it's a little different, and that's the one thing that I really want people to learn to know about Queen. There's something for everyone, as you said earlier, and I believe, was it Roger once said that they were never in style, the band, like they've never been in favor in style. So, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with finding what you like in their catalog. So, yeah, I mean, I love 39. It's just so fun. It's something different. I love the chorus to the song, with the, it's just simple. It's a simple track. And, when you play, which I think we need to get back to playing albums front to back.
Fully through, yes.
Fully through, hearing their whole thought process, the way they intended it to be played. Yeah. I really wish, like, this younger generation, and even us older fogies, would go back to listening to albums like that, because it tells a whole complete narrative, really. And you get the feelings that they were going through while making this masterpiece. So,
but that album itself is the most diverse album I think I've got in my collection from anyone, because you've got the hard rock, you've got Bohemian Rhapsody, you've got the sort of a country-ish type 39. You've got 1920s seaside music, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
And you've got one of the most beautiful love songs ever with Love of My Life.
Love of My Life, yeah.
Well, my next choice, and I don't have very much to say about it, but it's 39 from the opera. Now, I do have a little story about this. This was the B-side of You're My Best Friend. Now, it came out, it was 1976, so I'd have been 9-10 years old. And I thought it was the A-side. It was my brother's single, because he played it more than the A-side. So whenever I went down to his room to play his records, I always played 39, because I thought it was the single. And you were talking about, going away into space for a year, coming back 100 years later. The first thing came to me was Planet of the Apes. Whenever they saw the Statue of Liberty covered in sand and all, they're buried up. It's catchy. Now, I will say I don't like it when Freddie sings it, because he sang it on the Live Killers, and it doesn't work whatsoever. And I know Paul Rodgers sang it as well, but now Brian, whenever they're on concert, sings it.
I saw him sing it. They sang it when I saw him.
Well, that would have been good. That would have been the highlight.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean,
it does have a little bit of a country hold-down to it.
It does. When you hear me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you copyright claimed, so.
So much like the original, that.
Yeah.
So that is my second choice, 39, and I'm glad we've matched on at least one. I don't think
we have. We'll see if we match. We might. I don't know. I'm kind of glad we didn't run our lists by each other.
Yeah,
because this makes it more fun, right?
More fun, indeed.
So let me move my paper over. See, I'm so glad I typed all this stuff up. I spent like 3 hours typing last night.
Beth, that is mine. One side scribbled.
I'm faster typer. So I was just sitting here on the laptop. I have my another computer behind me. So I was researching here, typing out what I wanted to say here, back and forth, and then printing it over there. So anyway, okay. So number 3, this, for the record, has been my favorite Queen album, because it has my favorite song on it. My favorite song of all time, every genre, every band, all-time favorite song is Queen's Somebody to Love. Yes. It just does something to me. It just, I love it so much. And I mean, we're all looking for somebody to love, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, I picked from, sorry for the glare. I didn't want to take him out of the
No,
protective
fine.
covers. But my number 3 pick is from A Day at the Races. And it's not Lady Gaga's song, but it is Queen's You and I. Lady Gaga did a song called You and I featuring Brian May, if you didn't know
Okay.
that. So, You and I is a poignant ballad from Queen's A Day at the Races album, written by Mr. Dark Horse himself of the band, John Deacon, which we could do a whole deep dive into him if you wanted to
Yes.
sometime. Because, wow. While not as overly theatrical or bombastic as some of their other work, it showcases the band's ability to craft a heartfelt and intimate piece of music. Again, very varied. The song's lyrics explore themes of love, loss, and longing. Maybe I'm in a mood. I think the songs I'm picking, because we go a little deeper here in a little bit. Mercury's vocals, as always, are a tour de force, conveying a range of emotions from vulnerability to defiance. The music itself is characterized by its simplicity and elegance. A gentle piano medley, which I love. My daughter's a pianist, so we love piano-driven songs. Backed by its subtle strings and percussion, provides the foundation for the song. One of the most striking aspects of You and I is its emotional depth. The song's lyrics are both personal and universal, resonating with listeners who have experienced the joys and pains of love. So, the bridge in particular is a powerful moment of reflection as Mercury sings, we've seen the world, together we've cried, we've shared the laughter side by side. I love that.
That is a wonderful choice. Beth, number 2.
Are you kidding me?
You and I. That's actually the first one I've written down. It was the very first one I picked. And the reason I picked it, because this gets into the pop genre for me. This is a perfect pop song, really. And there's a little slight bit of Motown in it as well, I always found. But for me, whenever Queen released Bohemian Rhapsody, they followed it up with John Deacon's You're My Best Friend, which was a really good pop song. Then they released Somebody to Love, which is another bombastic song, absolutely wonderful song. Now, I thought the natural follow-up to that was You and I, because it's similar in a way to You're My Best Friend. It's that type of song. But over here, they released Tie Your Mother Down, or an edited version of it. And they put You and I on the B-side. So it's actually a B-side as well. But to me, this was screaming out to be the number 2 single from the album, because they released a third single. Well, it was actually the Queen's first EP with Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy having that EP. And it did much better than Tie Your Mother Down, which didn't get in the top 30. So You and I, absolutely wonderful pop song. Really love it. And we have matched on number 2. So my whole list is going to be, if we match, I'm going to throw it up. But my last one, which you're going to have to guess, is my all-time favorite Queen LP track. But you'll see
is it off A Day at the Races?
You'll see the album before you have a guess. So
okay.
I'll show you.
Okay.
Right. 2.
That is so weird. I mean, think every album has 10 to 12, 8 to 10 tracks, and we've gotten, wow. Okay. This is weird.
Yeah. I don't think we'll match again.
Who knows? I don't know. I get a little, I don't know. Like I said, I think I'm in a mood. Yeah. So, okay. Number 4. So, number 4 comes off of News of the World for me.
Okay.
And this is a bluesy rock track that I dig. And again, I'm in a mood. I don't know, in a melancholy type of mood. I picked My Melancholy Blues, and it is a relatively straightforward song, in my opinion, compared to some of their other, more experimental works. But it showcases their ability to craft a powerful and soulful bluesy rock number. So we're kind of dipping into the blues aspect here. The song's lyrics delve into themes of loneliness, heartbreak, and despair. So I'm, kind of wondering what they were going through at that time. Probably no. Freddie's vocals, infused with a bluesy rasp, convey a sense of raw emotion and vulnerability, which he could sing anything. I mean, really, he could forget about it. The music itself is driven by a heavy blues inflected guitar riff played by Brian. Obviously, the rhythm section, you got Roger and John Deacon just married together there, creates such a solid foundation for the song. One of my favorite aspects of My Melancholy Blues is its dynamic range.
Yes.
The song, it's seamless. It moves seamlessly between the quiet parts, the kind of introspective moments, and then it gets explosive. Got the guitar driven kind of outbursts. I think it adds a lot of depth and texture to the song, and it keeps the listener engaged. I mean, you're just waiting with bated breath for what's to come next. So I love the minor key. It's in a minor key, so it's kind of got, that's why it's got that more of a sadder tone to it. That's what I feel. It's got the energy and the bombasticness plus mixed with the blues vibes. It's good, and I would love more people to listen to it. So again, if you haven't heard My Melancholy Blues, check it out. There you go.
I'm in a bit of a dilemma here. Do I go with my original plan or do I go with my new plan? And I'm going to
copy me the whole time.
I'm going to actually go with the new plan. This is my favorite Queen track of all time, My Melancholy Blues.
Really?
Yes, that's my favorite Queen LP track of all time.
Wow.
And I did a video on this about 3 years ago, and this was the number one. It's the vocals. It is the vocals that the range of the vocals is unbelievable. From Another Party's Over, and I'm left over. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's one of those songs that you can imagine. You're in a bar at 2 a.m. in the morning, a smoky bar, and there's a guy tinkling on the piano. That's the sort of thing. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Brian Ferry's These Foolish Things from '73, which is a very old song. But yeah, absolutely love this. It's the perfect end to not a brilliant album. It's an okay album. This actually features one of my least favorite songs of all time on it, by the way, which is Sleeping on the Sidewalk, which I can't stand. So, and whenever you talked about blues, I thought you were going to go Sleeping on the Sidewalk.
Let me ask you something. Here's my problem with News of the World, and I don't know, is it the same way over there? Do they ever play We Are the Champions by itself?
No, not anymore. In fact, it's come to a point where it's now recognized as a double A side, but it never was, because We Will Rock You with the B side of the single, and it said B on the label. We Will Rock You only came to prominence whenever they released the Greatest Hits in '81, and they put the two of them together, which was a shame, because I would have preferred Keep Yourself Alive to have been on there.
Okay.
Better track.
Well, I love We Are the Champions. I love the song by itself. I'm kind of sorry, we're talking about Queen, they're my favorite band, but I'm kind of over hearing We Will Rock You lead into We Are the Champions. Yeah. I want to hear, and it never fails. It comes on the radio, pops up on the screen. You immediately know it, and then it's like, okay.
The Champions is less than 3 minutes long, though. It's a very short song.
I know, yeah, but I just would like to hear it. It's got more of a message to me than We Will Rock You does. So I don't know. It's one of an overplayed, very overplayed. I still love it, but it's a little overplayed. So, okay.
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Let's see if we can make it 4 out of 4, because I'm gonna pick What's Behind You. Is my next one.
Well, then it won't be 4 out of 4 because it's over there.
So, which I just learned that I believe this was written as kind of what am I trying to say? Tribute to one of my favorite artists, named my daughter after him, to Elvis Presley.
Okay.
But I'm picking from jazz, Dreamer's Ball. Dreamer's Ball. So, like I said, I think I'm in like a more of a melancholy mood. I don't know if it's the time change coming. The holidays can be a big letdown for people, you know, especially when you have not a lot of family left. I don't have a lot of family left, so we won't go into that. But Dreamer's Ball. So I love the layered guitars that Brian does as the song kind of opens up. It's definitely a lesser known song, but I think it's appreciated by some that do know more of Queen's discography, obviously. But I wanted to mention it today because I think it's obviously more overshadowed by some of their more iconic hits. And that's what we're talking about today. But the song's introspective and melancholic tone is immediately apparent. The gentle acoustic guitar strumming sets the stage for a journey through a dreamy, nostalgic landscape. Freddie's vocals, as always, are highlights, delivering a heartfelt and emotive performance. One of the most striking aspects of A Dreamer's Ball is its intricate harmonies, which, I mean, Queen is known for their great harmonies. The layered vocals combined with the rich instrumentation create a lush and immersive soundscape. Brian May's guitar work, again, is like second to none, both acoustic and electric, which I love that blend of the two together, adds depth and texture to the arrangement. The lyrics of the song evoke a sense of longing and wistful nostalgia, which I'm all about that. Love me some nostalgia. They paint a picture of a bygone era, which sounds wonderful to me, to go back to I mean, nobody says bygone era anymore. And I think we should bring that word back, those words back. A time of innocence and wonder. Again, the song, the themes of love and loss, we've talked about that a lot today. So, and the passage of time resonates with everyone. And it does resonate with me on a very deeply personal level. So, Dreamer's Ball, check it out.
Yes, a very good song. I actually like the live version of that as well. So I do, from Live Killers. I think it's very good.
Live Killers. Yeah.
So stripped down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, okay, now I am going to go into, well, we'll put it this way. I want a little bit hard rock.
Okay.
And I want it to be a catchy hard rock. I don't want to be sort of really, really proggy and on melodic hard rock. So I'm going to pick the most maligned album by Queen, and I love it. And it's from Hot Space.
Okay.
And the track is Put Out the Fire by Brian May. It opens up side 2 of this. Now, just remember, it opens up side 2. I've got a little bit to talk about Hot Space, but not with this song. So put it this way, there'll be another one. Now, this is so catchy, it's unbelievable. It's a little bit like Hammer to Fall, the hit from the Works 2 years later. It has got the most catchiest middle 8. And then it's just really riff-tastic, if you want to put it that way. It's such a really good, hard, catchy rock song. That's all you can say about it. And it's one of my favorites. It's always been one of my favorites. And it opens up side 2 of Hot Space. Okay? So that's my next choice.
Why do you think, let's sidetrack a minute, because I want to.
Yeah.
Why do you think Hot Space was so maligned?
I'll tell you exactly why it's so maligned. Because whenever that came out, they put all the funk tracks and the dance clubby tracks on side 1. Side 2 of Hot Space is your standard Queen album. Really,
right.
Apart from one song, Cool Cat, which I think could have been swapped over with Action This Day, and you would have had your rock side and your funk side.
Yeah.
The big Queen fans, which side do you always play of an album whenever you buy it? You play side 1. So right. Well, I don't want to do that. And they didn't even bother half the time with side 2, thinking it would be all the same. Because you look at that, Calling All Girls, which was a single in the States, so you're not allowed to pick it. was a fantastic track, really, and it should have been a single. You've Under Pressure. Maybe they played Under Pressure, which sounds a little bit tagged on, to be honest with you. I think they should have closed that album with Cool Cat on the other side. But that's the reason for me.
Yeah.
And but to me, it is my favorite Queen album of the 1980s.
Okay.
It is,
wow. Yeah, I mean, everybody, you see a lot of times people put it last.
Yeah, I don't know.
They hate it.
I know they do hate it. But, even people who listen to things like Put Out the Fire, they slag it off. And I'm saying, why? It's just like another Hammer to Fall. Oh, Hammer to Fall is brilliant. But it's the same type of song. It's, it's catchy, it's rocky, it's guitar-y.
Well, I think it gets thrown into, which I don't think this is a bad word, but disco.
Yeah.
It fell when disco fell. Like that was falling, that was going by the wayside.
Yeah.
And it got lumped into that because of the dancey, thumpy tracks.
If you think about the other single off it was Body Language. No, that took people by shock, right? I love it. I do. I love it.
I love that song.
But I will admit it should have been a Freddie Mercury solo song.
Yeah.
A little bit too much for Queen. But the second one, Las Palabras de Amor, that's Save Me Part 2, really. Song. First big chorus, end. And it didn't, that song itself was a top 20 hit in the UK, and it did not get on to Queen's Greatest Hits 2, which I couldn't understand. Whereas The Miracle had about 50 singles released. Well, it's exaggerating. I think it was 5 singles released.
5 or 6, yeah.
And it's the same with Innuendo. But anyway.
Yeah.
So
they were ramping up the singles there towards the end compared to.
Yes, that's why in doing this, it's easier to pick the 70s because the 70s only ever had 2 singles. So there's more LPs LP tracks to pick from.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna sort of copy you.
Okay.
We have Hot Space.
Right. Which one are you picking?
And what have I picked?
Right. Give me a hint. Side 1 or side 2?
Side 1. No, side 2. Side 2. My brain is just not working today. I was like having to read. My eyes are not good. Side 2. Second track. Side 2.
Oh, Life is Real.
Life is Real.
Yeah.
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 So this is Life is Real, song for Lennon in the parentheses. And of course, Freddie wrote this as a tribute to John Lennon. As we all know, John Lennon tragically left us in 1980. So the song, what do I say about the song? This is like, to me, that song is the closest Queen got to, it sounds so much to me. I'm not the biggest Beatles fan. I don't know a lot about them that much, guys, so don't come for me. But to me, it has the most Beatles-esque-ness to it, and especially John Lennon Imagine type of a sound to the song. So the song lyrics, again, reflect on the fragility of life and the importance of living in the moment, which I think John Lennon himself captured that very well, to just live each day, right? So it is a somber yet hopeful reflection capturing the essence of Lennon's message of peace and love, which I think we need that more. We need that more now almost than maybe, it just resonates now almost as much as it did back then, because we're in a very fragile time right now, in my opinion. So while the song doesn't, explicitly mention Lennon, everybody, at least it makes me think of John Lennon.
It actually does mention Lennon. The lyric "Lennon is a genius" is in the song.
What is it again?
Lennon is a genius.
Oh, okay.
right?
I
If
guess
you
I
check
never
that
picked
out,
up on that.
yeah, and that's the thing that I dislike about this. I love the song,
Uh-huh.
but I think it's so corny when he sings Lennon as a genius.
Oh, okay.
And
I
yeah,
must have not picked up on that.
it's a beautiful piano-led song,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
folks can't dance to. It's not a disco song, and it's on Hot Space.
Right.
This is the
Yeah.
point we're trying to make. And also, I don't like the song for Lennon in parentheses or brackets, as we
Yeah.
can say more.
It'd been nice to just have it
I like
like it's
subtlety
real.
when it comes to writing a song about somebody. I like subtlety, and I've always loved Elton John's "Empty Garden," which is a song about John Lennon. You
Oh,
know, even
okay. Okay, I'm not
Field's
familiar with that.
"Moonlight Shadow" is also regarded to be a song by John Lennon. But it's just that one lyric, "Lennon as a genius," which is 4 words, that makes me go, ugh, you know,
Mm,
it makes me cringe.
yeah.
But
Okay.
apart from that,
Yeah.
that was the B side of Body Language. So you've picked quite a few B sides. So,
I used to be B-sides, remember?
right.
Way back in the day.
And then Red Rum.
Yes, yeah, I've had a few incarnations, so but no, I that's why I think Hot Space really needs to be listened to because it's not disco. It's not just a disco album as
Yeah,
people want to say. They just want to lump it into disco as it's a bad thing, which it's not. I love disco music. I love all music. And listen to it front to back
exactly.
as a
And,
complete work. So,
and now comes the case for side one. It's the only
okay.
album that had two choices, or two choices from this album. Now, I said the opener to side two was Put Out the Fire. The opener to
Mhm.
side one here is Staying Power.
Staying power, yeah.
Love it. The bass line in that is unbelievable. It is just so good. It is dancing. It is pure funk. You get those, is it the RF Martin horns in it, which are brilliant, and the synthesizer as well, which comes to the fore in a certain section, is absolutely brilliant. Now, I remember watching on the TV, it must have been about 1983 or 84, they showed the concert that Queen did at the Milton Keynes Bowl, and he started to play Staying Power. But before he played it, he was saying that, oh, we're getting slagged off for this record. It's only an effing record, something to that effect. And he went into, this is Freddie, he went into Staying Power, and it was much harder edged. There's more guitars, there's no horns, and I prefer this version. I really do. I just think
Mhm.
this is so good. But it is a shock for those that were big Queen fans. But I don't see how it could be such a big shock because another one bites the dust is a disco song, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
funky and
and Dragon Attack has got a
mhm.
fancy
Mhm.
riff to it as well. So
Mhm.
I think maybe if they had have chopped and changed the track listing of this a bit and moved it about a bit, it might have done better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like the idea of all the sort of normal stuff inside two and the really disco-y stuff inside one.
Yeah.
But for me, Staying Power, absolutely love it. Love it a bit. And
It's
it
kind of
too
like the
with the side.
white side and the black side too,
Yeah.
right? So
Are you a white side fan or a black side fan?
black side.
Me too.
I don't know. Yeah, we
But
get along well.
Staying Power, absolutely brilliant. B side of Back Chat, which is a song that I really like. I prefer the music to the actual vocals. I think the words could have changed because it just goes back chat, back chat, back chat.
Back chat. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
the music is fantastic in it. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
I was kind of what's the word? Surprised about the whole Cool Cat single
Yeah.
getting dropped last year. Was it earlier this year or last year? And like the promotion for it, and no, that was earlier this year actually.
That
And
single actually is, it's looked at as a really good song off that
mhm,
album. Have you
mhm.
actually heard the original version that was dropped?
I don't think so.
Oh, Beth, you have to YouTube
Okay.
right in Cool Cat, Queen, and David Bowie, because he sings on
Okay.
and he does the backing
Oh
vocals.
no, I didn't know about
And
that.
it's so, and you can get really good good quality on YouTube. Well, you could, but I don't know if you still can, but try it anyway.
Okay.
He
Okay.
does do the backing vocals, and they're very prominent. And you think, yeah,
Okay.
this sounds really good. And then you listen to the original, and you think, no, they made the right decision. They
Yeah.
were going to put the David Bowie one on, but then he said he didn't like the song, so they had to do it again. So Cool
Okay.
Cat was one of the first recorded for the album because it was recorded around the time in 1981 of the Under Pressure sessions.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I mean, it would have been interesting to have more of the, Queen mixed with David Bowie stuff, but
I know, and I remember at the time, I'm a huge David Bowie's my number one artist of all time, and people were saying, David Bowie with boring old Queen. I think, oh, Queen are fantastic. Queen were not well received, really, throughout the years. Everyone thinking, oh, they're just a standard old proggy band, but
yeah,
that's absolute rubbish. Still, so
showed them. Well, my daughter was telling me just yesterday that she likes Michael Jackson. She's getting into Michael Jackson as well. And Michael Jackson just surpassed Queen in monthly listeners. Queen was the number one monthly listeners, what was it? All time? I don't know. They were number one on Spotify. And then Michael Jackson has surpassed them.
All right.
So I was like, well, probably because he's having a biopic done about him. And that's probably... Plus, we've just left Halloween, so Thriller and all that jazz. But Queen, I mean, they still, the kids, my nieces, my 10 and 13-year-old nieces, they've never seen the biopic. They've never, I mean, they just know some singles, obviously.
Yeah.
But their friends, they love Queen. There's certain songs of theirs that they love. Another One Bites the Dust. They love I Want to Break Free, Don't Stop Me Now. A little bit more varied than I thought they would be. Like the things that they've been exposed to, probably thanks to TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. So,
It's just that you mentioned I Want to Break Free. I've always believed that was the song, not the song of the video, where Queen shot themselves in the foot in America.
Oh, yeah.
Because of them dressing up as well. Yeah, the video. Which the Americans didn't get because it was a play on the Coronation Street soap that we've had since 1960. And they did look ridiculous. And I hate that video as well. I really do. I don't mind Freddie swarming around with grapes and all the rest of it and looking all sleazy. That's okay. But whenever they dress up as these old women, I can't have it.
I think it's camp and I love it. And the thing that I find so funny now, and we're not getting political, but it's funny how that lost them America, right?
Yes.
That got banned and America turned on them.
Yes.
And now it's like, look how things have switched in 30 years plus. It's interesting. It's interesting how things have really...
I'll have to admit something which I don't know if I cut out or not, but Roger Taylor is the best looking.
He looks great as a woman.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I had to have a word with myself.
Well, and John, honestly, he kind of looks like what I can picture, what I remember her looking like, just a crotchetier version of the Queen Mother.
Yeah.
like her on a bad day, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I love Freddie's little shuffle that he does, in the second verse. So, yeah, I don't know. But see, I think my daughter was going to order them for me for Christmas, but they've released the pop figures.
All right.
For I Want to Break Free. So all four of the boys as women, and it's a whole set.
Very good.
So I want to get them to go with all the rest of my Queen pops.
All right.
So anyway, enough of that tangent. We can edit that out. I don't want to offend anybody by saying about the, you know, how the political climate has shifted. So anyway, okay. Number seven, I picked from, which I am a fan of this cover. I love it.
Oh, no.
Some people hate it. You don't
I
like
hate
it?
The back cover is even worse.
Well, with all the, you don't like the eyeballs.
No. I do not like the cover full of eyeballs.
No, see, what I like about it is because I used to do photography and I was really into Photoshop, and to know that this was done with like what became Photoshop back then, it's just astonishing to me how they did this. So I give them props to that. So, but it is a little weird, but you know, whatever. So my number 7 deep cut is "Was It All Worth It" from The Miracle. So I've got a lot of the same themes, you guys. Again, you know, we're kind of diving into different reflections of, you know, this is later in Queen's run. As we know, Freddie was sick, probably thinking, all of them thinking about what was to come. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud, but this "Was It All Worth It" is a poignant reflection on life, love, and loss, a theme often explored in Queen's music, obviously. This particular track is a slower, more introspective piece that showcases Freddie's incredible vocal range and emotional depth, as I've mentioned before. The song's lyrics are filled with questions about the meaning of life and the pursuit of happiness. His voice, Freddie's voice, is filled with both regret and hope, and paints a picture of a life lived to the fullest, yet tinged with doubt and uncertainty, which I think we can all kind of resonate with that. At least I can, personally. The music, with its simple yet powerful instrumentation, perfectly complements the lyrics, creating a melancholic and reflective atmosphere. I'm just, like I said, I'm in a mood. The song's bridge is particularly striking as Mercury delivers a soaring vocal performance that is both powerful and vulnerable. In a moment of catharsis, a release of pent-up emotion, the final chorus, with its repeated question, "Was it all worth it?" leaves the listener pondering the meaning of his or her or their own life. So that is my number 7. Was it all worth it? I think it was.
Is that a Freddie song, actually? I know it's down as Queen, but you can always tell who wrote what. I'm not sure.
I think it was, if I remember correctly. But yes, you're right. By then they were just, it was all Queen. They were all taking credit for their songs, correct?
So you'll find in Wikipedia who actually wrote it. But if it was Freddie, obviously he was well aware of his situation. And that's probably where it all came from.
Like, I don't know.
It's not bad. It's not one of my favorites. I didn't think anything from The Miracle. If I did, I would have cheated again with Party and Khashoggi Ship. But
Khashoggi Ship.
Yeah. Well, my number 7. We're going back to the debut.
Oh wow! Okay.
Right, and this is outside of the single, my favorite track off this album, and it's "Great King Rat."
Great King Rat.
On side 1, and now this album has been reissued as Queen 1, which you can talk about after I do my little spiel. But this is heavy as hell, and there's wah-wah guitar, and some of the verses are based on the Old King Cole was a merry old soul, but this Great King Rat was a dirty old man, and a dirty old man was he. And now he died of syphilis, this dirty old man, at the age of 44, which makes me feel ancient.
That's my age.
I know. So you're an old woman then. So I think it works so well. And as I say, there's different guitar styles in here. As I say, I think it's wah-wah guitar you call it. But you know the way Brian May's guitar, you can hear it a mile away. So you can, you know it's Brian May. If you heard this, you wouldn't know it was Brian May. So it actually has a little bit of a T-Rex vibe from 1970.
Okay.
But brilliant track, heavy as hell, slows down, and then sort of almost goes into a little bit of a flamenco feel, and then bang, hits you again, and it finishes. Wonderful song off one of the best debut albums ever in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Very high on my list of albums, it would be a top 3. So, Great King Rat is my.
What do you think about them pitch correcting him and messing with the vocals? Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't. I thought they were just doing the drums, because I will admit that the drums are very muddy in that, and it's not their drum kit, it's a borrowed kit, and the drums do sound muddy, and I can understand them wanting to replace that, but I didn't know that there was any chops and changes of vocals. Have you got the Queen one?
I have Queen. Yeah, I have. I have it. I have an original. Right. This is my Queen cube right down here. If you could see it.
What I mean, do you have the new issue Queen 1?
No, I have the 2015 remasters.
All right. So this is
that box set. Which I know. Go ahead. Sorry, Richard.
I have ordered it. It's actually number 10 in the UK album charts, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, higher than the original, because it never got top 20. But I ordered it just on CD, I didn't order it in vinyl, just so I could hear it. It hasn't arrived yet. But there's a lot of people saying that they've gone overboard with this, and it's unrecognizable. And they have put on Mad the Swine, the song which was originally supposed to come after Great King Rat, and between that and My Fairy King. So it's now on. But we shall see. I think it's just, I hope they have.
There is a channel that I would recommend if you've never checked him out. I've been watching him for a while, so I think he knows what he's talking about, but you do your own research and you know things. But it's called Wings of Pegasus. Are you familiar with that channel?
I've heard of it, yes.
His name's Phil, and he does different deep dives, and he has he has this software that he uses, and he'll run the audio through it, and then the new version of it, and then he shows how they pitch corrected and tweaked certain, because whenever the vocals, whenever they sing, of course, they're going to go above or below the line. They're never going to hit the line, generally speaking. So he's always either a little flat or a little sharp, again, generally speaking. And it's kind of interesting to see. They've done this a lot, because I left a comment on a Queen post, and someone commented on there as well. And I did some of my own research, and they were tweaking the 2015 remasters as well back then too. But then they've continued to work on them. So, and I played my original. It's not an original pressing, but it is an early, probably a later 70s reissue that I have of Queen 1, just Queen. And then I played the 2015, and I'm not an audiophile, never claimed to be one, but my ears can tell a difference.
All right. Okay.
So you will need to listen to whatever you have and compare and contrast and let us know, which I would like to see that. Yeah. But it just, I don't know, Richard, anymore. I just don't trust anything anymore, because they're always messing with something anymore.
There's an American group that my brother absolutely loved. They're like one of those barbershop quartets type singers, a cappella. Okay. Is it Born Free or something? Home Free. Now, yes. He is absolutely besotted by them. And he went over to England to see them live, and he got the CDs. And anytime I went down to his house, he just completely annoyed me, because he was home free, home free, home free, home free, home free all the time. Then he found out that the vocals were changed.
Yep.
He's dumped them completely.
Good.
He dumped them completely.
Yeah.
And he's gone Bob Dylan again, which is a bit different.
Well, there are other bands out there, but the truth is a lot of, like, why do we need Freddie's vocals audio corrected?
I know.
Oh, okay. Or the drums, for that matter. Okay, yeah, maybe they're a little off, maybe something, but that was the way it was recorded.
Exactly.
Take
I've
it
no
for what it is.
issue with the artists of today doing it, but don't touch the recordings of the past.
No. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, most artists, if they're human, they're going to sound a little flat. They're going to sound a little sharp. They're going to be imperfect.
Exactly.
You can't hit the same note over and over again on multiple takes. You just can't do it.
Yes, I know.
So look it up, do your deep dive. Let me know.
So we're down to our last one. If you show me the album, let me see if I can guess.
Okay. You window.
Oh. Right. There are a lot of singles off this album.
There were.
So I am going to pick my favorite album track, which nearly got on this list. And I don't think it's the same one as yours. I would go with Ride the Wild Wind.
Nope.
Delilah, do you like cats?
Not Delilah. I do like Delilah because I'm a cat. I do love cats. And, you know, I know Freddie loved his cats too. So
I Can't Live With You.
I picked Bijou.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, Bijou. So I love the instrumental intro to the song. Like it's what, about 1:30 of just pure instrumental, just eargasm goodness. It just, I just love how it, yeah. So I love this album. I really do. I know it was the bitter end. I didn't pick anything from Made in Heaven. I like it, but I just wanted to stick with the basic Queen discography, you know, when Freddie was actually here and present. So Bijou. So that was an idea that Mercury and May had, making a song kind of inside out, which is kind of cool. Having the guitar doing the verses and the vocal doing the break. Mercury put the chords, title, and lyrics, and the two of them worked on the guitar parts. So Mercury sang the first line, and then May transferred the melody to his guitar. The song was finished without any input. So says Wikipedia, so who knows if this is right or not. But it says the song was finished without any input from Taylor or Deacon. Mm-hmm. So this hidden gem, which I would call it that, in their little crown, I think is a poignant and beautiful ballad that showcases the band's ability to create emotionally charged and musically sophisticated music. I think Queen was very sophisticated and campy and all that goodness. The title Bijou, meaning jewel in French, is fitting for the track that it is so precious and delicate. The music is characterized by its simple yet elegant arrangement. Freddie's vocals are simply breathtaking. His voice is filled with both tenderness and power, which I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly when they were recording this towards, the end, but he had so much power. I mean, to the bitter end. The lyrics themselves are both romantic and again, melancholic, maybe it's just, I don't know. Again, we're I just, the thing about me, Richard, is I love, but also a lot of me is based in, I guess, loss, heartache. Just, I've lost both my parents. I've lost a brother. So many people around me have passed on. So I think that's just a part of me that's just kind of been broken. And I think that's why I really kind of resonate with a lot of these more melodic, melancholic, downbeat type of songs of theirs. At least in the last few years, I've really kind of taken to those. So I love the emotional impact of this song, and Bijou leading right into The Show Must Go On.
Yeah.
It just caps it off perfectly. I have a brand new tattoo of The Show Must Go On my back. Not going to show that today, but yeah, I think it just wraps up the album very nicely and caps off Queen as we know it. So that is my last pick.
I don't want to reply to that because I enjoyed every single second you said. But if you want the truth, I struggle with the Innuendo album. I really do.
Really?
I bought it when it came out, and the actual album I bought, a lot of the songs are edited because it was all the single disc. It's now on a double disc. So
Okay.
I played it and played it and played it. I just could not get into it at all. And looking back at it now, I always find the whole album to be quite dated in sound. Like, These Are the Days of Our Lives, beautiful song, but it actually sounds more late 1980s it does 1991. I just think it's from that era. Now, don't get me wrong, I like songs to sound dated because that's when they come from. So I don't want anything to change, but I could never grasp it. It is actually my least, apart from Flash, my least favorite Queen album.
Okay, that's fair enough.
It's pretty high on everybody's list, apart from mine, but
that's okay.
Well, you have to have a guess at this now. It's not my number one because my number one was My Melancholy Blues. You completely that for me, completely destroyed.
Sorry.
This is an easy one. What are you going to pick?
From sheer heart attack. Let me grab it so I can think. I need to visualize it. And where's it at? Oh, here it is. Hold on. There we go. Let me think. I need to visualize and see. Let me read through the songs. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what was singles and what wasn't.
Well, the two singles were Killer Queen and Now I'm Here.
Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Stone Cold Crazy?
No.
No? Okay.
Give me
another chance.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
You've got a choice of two.
Okay. Choice of two?
Yes.
A side or B side?
B side. If you look at the song titles, you've got a choice of two.
Is that a hint?
Yes.
Choice of two. I don't know. Just tell me. Tell me.
In the Lap of the Gods.
In the Lap of the Gods. Okay.
See, there's two in the Lap of the Gods. There's In the Lap of the Gods and In the Lap of the Gods.
And the Revisited. Oh, you and your hints. You did that. Remember that contest you did that you had to pick out the hidden meaning?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, that was tough.
Nobody got it.
No, I wouldn't have got it. No. So, okay, in the Lap of the Gods.
No, I haven't made my mind up which one because I love the both of them. But if I'm going with my heart, I'm going to say the first one, which is the weird one with Roger Taylor screaming and the almost drunken Freddie Mercury voice. And I absolutely love it. Now, the last one Revisited is the one that everybody loves with the whoa, whoa, la, 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 which is a little bit Hey Jude-ish, you know what I mean? With
it does sound like Hey Jude, yeah.
But I'm going to go with the first one. I just think it's so underrated. It's such a brilliant, brilliant opener. And then it goes in, bang, into the heavy metal of Stone Cold Crazy.
Yeah.
But it's those weird vocals. And then the backing vocals throughout are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And talking of backing vocals, I have got a question for you.
Okay.
Of all the Queen singles, this is a really tough one. There's only one that doesn't have any backing vocals from the rest of the band. Only one. And it's from the 70s. And it wasn't a big hit.
Is it Love of My Life?
No.
Spread Your Wings?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I like that song so much.
I know, so do I. John Deacon again.
Yes, I know. He's so good.
So any bubbling unders, I was going to pick Dead on Time from Jazz. That's why I had Jazz out, because I really like that. But I put in Great King Rat instead. That's the only bubbling under.
My daughter, now, she wanted me to pick this, but then we looked it up, and it was a single in Japan.
Right. Teo Toriata.
That is her favorite song.
All right, okay.
So
I would
her absolute favorite song right now.
I would have let you have it because you don't live in Japan.
I don't live in Japan. I'm in the middle of the United States.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
That was great fun. I enjoyed every single minute of it. So thank you again for.
Thank you. That was fun.
So that's us for now, folks. Before we go, what about? Do you want to say a little bit about your channel?
Okay. If you love the 80s nostalgia, especially movies and soundtracks, that's kind of what I do on my channel. What I like to do is I rip audio. I play music on YouTube, which is so wrong, but I will rip the audio and I overlay it with images from the film on the record spinning itself. And we do that on my channel, and I pull out obscure movies, things that people maybe don't remember, haven't heard of. I like to find deep cut tracks, again, that maybe nobody remembers, you can't find on Spotify. It's getting harder and harder to find things that are not online. But that's what we do. It's just living in the 1980s. So I was born in 80. So I was a little young for the decade, but I do have fond memories of it. And in this time, this world of uncertainty, I just want to go back. So, and thank you, Richard, for having me on the channel. It was so much fun. And I'm so glad we got to do this and meet and talk in person for the first time. So
It's been an absolute pleasure. So, and I know some of the UK ones are going to go, how on earth did you manage to pull that one off? But anyway, that's us for now, folks. And I will have a boring old video showing up records. Watch Beth's channel. Her videos are good. I don't know when, but it'll probably be next week. So all the best now. Bye.